Hello everyone and welcome to ChaosTrainer. I'm Matt with Schematical, and we launched the alpha of this thing yesterday, alpha 001 and 002, and thank you to everybody on Discord for helping out and getting the bugs worked out. I think we got this thing barely polished. There's still a lot to go. As I say, progress over perfection, but I want to re-record kind of the intro video for this because I want to get it out there so people can play with the alpha and understand what they're getting into. So I'm going to start from the top. So ChaosTrainer is a game where you basically train neural nets to perform different tasks and compete them against each other. So you create training rooms. And there's a training room builder, so we can go ahead and edit levels. So this is an example of one of the larger ones I've created. It's a basic maze. Um, and then you can go ahead and design different, fitness functions where these guys can survive. So, for example, the score effect. So every time these guys enter a tile, they gain 100 points. And thing is, what I've actually done is it has to be a new Y, so they actually have to go upwards as they do it. So they just keep entering tiles around here that they're not going to do it. So they've got to work their way upwards in order to get the right score. And for every Y that they go up, the score is increased by 1.1. I guess 1.1 to the power of whatever the distance is. So, if they go up 2 squares, it's squared. 3 squares, it's cubed. 1.1 times that. Not that important there. They also end up earning more life, based on how much they travel around unique tiles. And if they enter a lava tile, minus 10. These settings I'm going to go over in a different video, but basically we run 200 of them at a time. Well, 200 of them per generation, and they can survive a certain amount of before they die, a certain amount of generations before the species died out. We use NEAT, which is Neuroevolution of Augmented Topologies. I hope I say that right. I always seem to get that one funny. Um, and there's other settings in there that you can mess with, like how many neurons they start off with, how many neurons we mutate per generation, the chances of a mutation versus an adding a neuron versus completely replacing it. And there's a variety of inputs and outputs you got. Basic movement outputs like turning. We also have sound, which actually IO sounds they can hear and actually communicate with each other, which is like the longer term thing I'll get into in a bit. And then these are out. You know what? I'm going to save these for a different video. But let's go ahead and play. So what you see here is that I have 3 spawn points down here at the bottom where they basically spawn, and a lot of these guys are going to die because they have no idea what to do. But we can go ahead and look at their neural net, and we can see they have a biased input and they have a is facing angle, so you can see that's changing based on the angle that they face, the weight of that, and can see input, which basically they have a 3 eyes right now. If we actually look at it, we just lost them. So you see the little lines pop up every half second. They calculate. So you just lost some score there. Also, there's a lot of friction in the lava. I made it so they couldn't just run through the lava, which is why they slowly die in lava, but not quickly. But you can see he's kind of got these eyes that are popping up there. You can't fully see right now. But all those basically determine if they're going to turn or move or emit a noise. And we also have health inputs and so on. And I'll go through all those in more details in other videos. We have a time scale here, so that's how quickly they move. So I'm going to up that to 2. That way they're going to move a little faster. If I'm using the Unity engine, so if they go really fast, it gets a bit wonky, like they can hop the lava. And we have a max box of 5, but I think we ought to up it a little bit to 80 for now. So you can see right there, we've got a bunch of them. Now we're generation 0. We have 20 different species at the moment, 0 through 19. If you're a programmer, it makes sense. And we can see that Gen 0 has the highest scoring right now. And you can see bots this gen, I said we had up to 200 right now. So we can go up. And a lot of user interface work needs to be done on this, but I want to validate the basic premise before I go and go crazy and hire a user interface designer. I will tweak these. It's pretty easy to make the background not so transparent and the foreground a little bit better, but we'll get into that later. Um, and so within a couple generations, if you guys look back at my other videos, now that I've implemented neat properly in some capacity, they actually do start to learn and they start to figure out how to solve these things. And you'll see the biggest thing that I did actually, and I got this from the Flappy Bird IO or Flap High. Some students made that where you'll notice the colors, like only the strongest survive kind of, and so the colors dictate basically their species. So like if a green one survives and is the top of his species, then the other ones, the children will all have similar colors to it, but they can mutate a certain amount. Look at this guy all the way up there. So we can follow him and see how high he's getting, and we can see that he's got a score of 249 and that he had a lifespan. Now he was the highest scoring one. You can see his whole path there. So he actually just got a second spawn chance. And I do that for what I call fidelity, but basically so I can start gathering the median and mode scores of these guys, because sometimes they just get lucky. So like as you can see there, he didn't do too well his second spawn, so he just got lucky. Um, so, and we can view his end net, but he's dead. This is his neural net, and so the is facing angle input actually works, because that I just added that one because a lot of times they wouldn't figure out that they had to go north to get to the higher scoring ones. So that is the basis of this game, and my goal is not to just get them to solve a maze or have an individual one solve a maze. My goal is to make it so that there are game mechanics that they can interact with that are far more complex than this. We already have a ice cube that they can push into there to neutralize, which I don't have in this level. Where I'd like to make it so they have to collect a certain amount of things in with those that could act like food. And the beautiful part though is that I'm not building these levels. I built the level designer for you guys. I am building the mechanics that you guys will use to build the levels, but you guys will be able to build and compete these things against each other. And then ideally, and this is something I need to put in the physics config, is that you guys will actually be able to have them interact with each other. Well, the coolest thing is when they start interacting with each other to solve these things. I have designed ways where they can leave breadcrumbs kind of for each other. I call them hieroglyphs, where they can kind of leave markings of other sorts and interpret markings. You've already seen like the colors down here. Every time you see a color, we're stuck on this guy for now. Hold on. Still working out some of the kinks. There we go. See the colors that are down here? Every one of those, they basically have the ability to emit an 8-bit noise somewhere. And so that 8-bit noise can be interpreted by the other one. So let's see if this guy actually has. He definitely has an output, but does he have an input? So he can emit noise if he can hear noise. The -1. If you guys and look into all the stuff, sigmoid function and all that, there's a lot of little, real good stuff by Suraj Ravikant, I think his name is, and a lot of other guys out there. I'll try and put that somewhere where you guys can find it. And he can see a tile, then he will emit the noise. It's not so simple as an AND gate. There's actually some complex sigmoid functions and so on and so forth in there. But so they can emit noises basically, and the reason they can emit noise right now, I have an 8-bit level. Think of it like a high-pitched noise would be more like a wolf that just got his foot stuck in a trap. That would be a shrill. So like if they hit lava, maybe they would emit the higher noise, or they're injured in some capacity, or lower noise might be more like a growl where it's sensed a being that it thinks it can threaten, or eventually mating calls and stuff like that. I haven't implemented any amount of mating there. I'll reproduce according to the need algorithm, but that's something I definitely want to add in there. Let me clear this out there. So that's the start of it. We can you can see some of these guys are getting pretty sophisticated. They're learning to dodge lava. You can see that guy there's begun some basic lava dodging. This guy here as well. They're stuck in a corner there. But that's it. And then you guys could train and compete these guys against each other. We also see a species kind of taking over here. It looks like the red guys seem to be pretty popular. You guys could compete them in races. You guys can compete them in just solving various puzzles. So think of it like a Pokemon of sorts, hopefully I don't get sued by Pokemon, where you actually do train them and they actually do behave accordingly. So you throw them in the maze and they have to, I throw a dozen of these guys and they have to figure out how to solve it. And you can compete your dozen, you know, red guys against the other guys, dozen or so blue guys, and they have to solve the puzzle more effectively, or they have to win a battle of some type, or they have to collect the most resources. But this is just the beginning. So that is where I'm headed with this, and I really want you guys to be involved as I build this. And in case I didn't mention it, I call it ChaosTrainer for now. Um, so where do you guys fit in? Um, right now, I have Discord set up. We have a small group of alpha testers who have been testing this thing. If you guys are interested, hop on Discord, shoot me a message, or just post, "Hey, I'm interested in ChaosTrainer. I want to do an alpha test." I will set you up. We have a whole, Git issue tracker and everything else where you guys can play with this stuff and we can flush out issues. And what I need to know is where you guys want to go with this. That's the next one of the videos coming up. I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a anybody that's alpha tested a little test or not test a poll to see where people want me to go. Do you guys want me to focus more on adding more biological effects, give you the ability to edit how far they see, to give you the ability to mutate that, to give you the ability to change their outputs, give them hands, the ability to carry things, the ability to throw things, move, interact with the environment? Do you guys want more inputs? Do you guys want me to focus on team behavior, group behavior? Do you guys want more game mechanics like the ability to create levels with fireballs or switches? That's one of the things we work on is pressure plates, switches, where you guys have to, this all this stuff, the lava will just be solid and they have to put bridges across, and so one of them will have to hold down a switch of some type so the other ones can cross, and so on and so forth. Do you guys want me to focus on memory? Right now they have the ability to store 8 floats, floating decimal numbers in their memory if we switch that on, so they can store different things. I could give them the ability to remember a certain amount of tiles, so that way they know, okay, I've seen all these tiles, I need to go towards new tiles to get somewhere. Do you want me to give them neuroplasticity? That's another one where they can actually observe each other's behavior and generate and change their behavior accordingly. So if this guy down here, he hits the lava, see that negative there, this guy observes it and says, okay, I'm going to de-weight those neurons in my neural net, so now that was the move output, the turn output, all of a sudden these weights change slightly so they don't make the same mistake. Or if they see the little green thing go off, let's see if I can get one of these guys that goes green, basically the score going upwards. Oh, they are tricky. Go up, go north, nope, went to the lava. Then I weight the neurons that I see, accordingly. I add those dependencies, which increases their ability to learn. So there's a lot of stuff like that. Or do you want me just to clean up the graphics? I got a little bit of shadowing right now, but as you can clearly see, the lava shadows are all jacked up. The wall shadows are pretty jacked up right here, so I'd like to do a graphics clean eventually. But what do you guys want to play? And I'd love to see some of the levels that you guys are building. I know some of the alpha builders have already played around and built some levels. I'd love for you guys to be posting that in Discord so you guys can play on each other's levels. I share all mine by the alpha GitHub repo, so you can just import levels. But yeah, that's the question is, where do you guys want to go with this? What do you guys want to see? So, uh, with all that said, again, I'm Matt with Schematical. Please join us on Discord. Please download the alpha. I'd love to set everybody up with it. From there, I can only imagine where we can go. This is just a start. I realize it's extremely simplistic in its graphics, but the engine behind it can really be extended to learn all sorts of really cool stuff, and can really see. I'm trying to follow him. Yeah, this guy looks like he's pretty smart. There also are hidden neurons that can evolve over time, but this guy seems to have not done that yet. So, all right, I'm going to cut this short now. Thank you guys. Again, the name of the project is ChaosTrainer. Um, there'll be, check out the Discord link. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. If you feel free any of those features I listed off to upvote in the comments. Share this with your friends, anybody else that might be interested. And thank you guys. Bye.